feel.
แกงเลยเอาไป
Looks like I'll be speaking more English since I've always been called the American monk. I think it's very important that we pay attention to the effects of meditation and who and how to practice and what to practice about meditation, because many observers, people of other ethnicity or culture, even our own culture, everyone has their own different perspective. And so, first we have to remember that meditation is for everybody. It does not restrict to one ethnicity, nor culture, nor religion. Meditation is the practice for cultivating the mind, to be more mindful of our whereabouts, awareness. How many of you right now, as a show of hands, believe that you are aware? No one? No? Occasionally. How many of you think are not aware? Raise your hands. Only a couple people answered. We'll try again. How many people are aware? They think they're aware. Raise your hands. And how many people think you're not aware? Raise your hands. Well, you must be aware because you just answer you're not aware. So you are aware that you're aware and you're aware that you're not aware.
So we're not unaware.
It's very important that we keep in mind why we meditate, right? Because without good practice with meditation, we can easily get off track and lose train of thought. You ever have that moment where you lose your train of thought? You don't know what's happening, right? We practice meditation to become more mindful of that. And importantly, perspectives, right? Because we all have different perspectives, correct? With meditation, we train the right understanding, right? Now, many of you, of humans, of beings, even animals, have different perspectives. For say we take this cup of tea, correct? You cannot see, maybe I'll give it down a little bit for you all to see. Can we say, how many of you think that this is a lot of water, a lot of tea? How many say this is a lot? And how many say that this is too little tea, not too much tea? Okay. We cannot think about how much or how little because we don't know what it's for yet, right? So if we only judge without knowing the background of it, then it's the phrase we judge too soon. We judge book by its cover, right? We don't want to do that, right?
At least we have something to compare.
And then,
At least we have something to compare.
unless we have something to compare, right? Now if we have these two cups here, different quantities in each cup, then we can compare, right? Which one is more, which one is less, then we can compare, right? The way we practice meditation, it builds our different perspectives and our understanding of our encounters with other people from day-to-day basis. right? Because the personality that you encounter with someone at home can be different when you go into your workspace, correct? And it can be different when you go into an event, correct? Just as here today, we have a lot of different personalities in the room. When you go home, you have a different personality to your significant other, or to your children, to your parents, to your grandparents. Thus, we must practice as much as possible to be able to understand, not necessarily take, but understand everybody's perspective. Now, how must we do that? With meditation. Many of us, as mentioned before, think too much within a day, especially with this generation, my generation. We think about multitasking. The most efficient thing to do is to multitask. But how efficient is it when you multitask and mess up one task? You mistake one task, then you can only do one task and not the other, or maybe not efficient for both. But is that efficient for the health of our mind? Right? Maybe not. And thus, we focus on one thing at a time. We see things how they naturally are, right? How they naturally are. A car, 4 wheels, goes forward and backwards, right? But then many people think of the mechanics of it, the physics of how the car goes. We see just a car. And we move forward and forward and forward. With practice every day, Venerable TV had asked you all a question before we began, of how many you want to be happy. A lot of you answered that you want happiness today, tomorrow, and so on and so on. And thus we must practice every day, because meditation is not just as your jobs and just as everything else. It's not something that you can gain mindfulness overnight, right? We cannot gain something overnight, just as learning something. If you're learning a subject such as philosophy or physics or psychology, chemistry, we cannot learn those things overnight. I want to pick on, I want to pick on my dad. My dad back there. If you don't know him, if you don't know who that is, just look at our heads. We look very similar. My dad just begun his new job. His job, he came to me the other day. There's a lot of mathematics to his job, something that he doesn't use every day in his previous job. And so thus he told me that I have so much work to do, I have so much studying to do, there's so much that I have to learn in order to, get the job right? This is something that's over time, something that he can't learn in one night. He showed me the book is this thick. I said, that sucks for you. No. With meditation, the same thing. We must practice every day, right? Because we cannot expect results overnight. If we meditate today, tomorrow we will not gain enlightenment. We must build, right? We have to build it over time, right? So I got a question the other day too, is when is the best time to meditate? When you have time. Okay? Because we have 24 hours within a day. We choose to do with what our time as. We choose that. And as mentioned before, many people multitask and do too many tasks, but then forget about the more important things. when you do too many tasks, when is the time that you reflect on yourself? When is the time that you reflect on the encounters that you've made throughout the day, previously, right, or that day? And thus, you have to make time for yourself. If we don't make time for ourselves to meditate, then we have no time. Just as the same as making dinner or going to work, you make time for that, right? Meditation is the same thing. We have to be able to make time for ourselves to practice meditation. If you focus on other things, then you make time for that, but have no time for meditation. Then we have to observe that activities, those actions, on how we can better improve and where we can substitute our meditation. So I think that's all from me. អធិស្ឋានបាននិយាយខ្មែរទេខ្ញុំអាត្មាមិនសូវកែខ្មែរទេលោកគេហើយខ្ញុំកើតណាសូមអរគុណដល់គ្រូចាស់គ្រូសុភាពហើយគ្រូចាស់សុខធីវីបាននិមន្តពីស្រុកខ្មែរមកហើយចូលរួមនៅក្នុងកម្មវិធីនេះ I would like to thank both Venerable for joining our event today, and I think I would like for one of the Venerables to lead us in meditation. Or before that, I think we should take a break.
Yeah. Take a 5 minutes break.